Man, forget what they talking about. Your word, law. A snake was in your garden. Yeah, like y'all let the gates down. What did they do to you? They didn't do anything to me. I was just telling the story, but I just had to answer the brother. Listen, you regardless, right? So you might not approve of what I'm doing. I'm still your brother. Simple. So what made you feel different about your oath? I never felt no way about that oath. Okay, I'm about to show y'all something. Y'all want me to do it? Listen, you have to understand who you talking to. And you doing right. I'm just excited. You asking questions. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so don't think I'm trying to run through your question. I'm just excited, like I'm able to show y'all. Like, this is what I mean. I had to hold this. I held this in a way that most wouldn't understand when I gave my oath or my obi. You understand? I had to learn things to be able to recite. I went through school, a school of masonry. I learned it. And there are a lot of brothers who went through the same school. And the only thing they can disagree with me about is the fact that I'm telling y'all shit. That's the only thing they disagree about. If you pay attention. This is a Mason brother on here. You said, brothers and fellow, this is fellow behavior. Whatever you want to say, family. You got friends, eavesdroppers, whatever you want to say. But I'm going to show you something if you got the time to listen. Unless your belief in the lie is going to stop you from being able to hear me. Well, like I said, if you can recognize me in the darkness as well as in the light, it shouldn't make no difference. I'm still your brother. Unless you don't want to acknowledge me as a brother. I don't need you to do that either. That's only for our fellowshipping and our brotherhood. If you don't want to acknowledge me as a brother, I never needed that. That's just a part of your ritual. I don't need it. I don't need acknowledgement. Listen, you'll never know what's next with me. You say, a mask now? I can't believe it. Because you probably knew I've been wearing masks. And I took the mask off, and you probably didn't know what happened then. Then what happened when I take this one off? You let them run a train. I'm not even going to finish that because I don't know where your brain at. I tell you, get help. Seek help. Stop it now. Aliens are spirits. Hold on, family. We'll get into this thing. All right, let me see. Here you go. Yep, how did Diddy die? All right, let's look into it real quick. We're about to take that walk now. Hold on. We listen and we judge. Use your brain. You can't do shit but judge. All right. So this how did Diddy die? Pay attention to even the title of the book. Pay attention to the layout. Pay attention to the symbolism. Pay attention to how I put it in place. What you see around me, Etherians, right? You see the blue light. That was the blue light time period. All right. You see highlighting that contract thing. Stay with me. I hear you, Solomon. Give me a second. What to start off with? Am I a man of my word? As a man in this world, type W, and the W is for Western, we are taught, the many of us and fairly young, that all we have in this world is our word. There are different ways that saying goes, of course, but in its most basic form, it stands as stated. What you speak about, you must be about. When you say you want to do or you will do a thing, you are to do everything within your natural ability to make sure that that thing is done. In an ideal world, of course, it's only that simple. There need be no mishaps and changes of mind, heart, and soul taken into consideration. One need not ruminate over whether or not they will be seen as less than a man if they don't prove to follow through or make good. In the sense of that ideal world, if we are using the word ideal in the phrase ideal world under the pretense that the word ideal is synonymously aligned with the word perfect, then one without the sharpest sense might manage to reason that this world is quite far from ideal. Pressure. Can it be represented by any other word? What a man in the Western world feels on a day in, day out basis? Does there exist any other term that might do the weighty experience any justice? A man in this faltering web of a world is taught that all he has is his word, and he believes it for the most part, and that belief wears him away from the inside out. Pressure. What if the man says he will do a deed and that deed goes undone? Pressure. And if he proposes an amendment to himself that he may undergo a tremendous metamorphosis, but he fails to undergo that tremendous metamorphosis, who is he then? Pressure. Pipes bursting for the duration of the lifetime. The man who is at any moment told that he is not a man of his word suffers internally, even unto the point of untimely death of cells, as not a piece, but pieces of the man dies inside at the sound of this apparent cursing. The man would never have received these words as a curse had the world, type W, been built on the grounds of rightness. Truly, for if it were, the man would be able to arrive at the right angle, which when you say the right angle aloud, you'll hear the right end goal. And that end goal would be to achieve holiness, completeness. And how else might that be achieved but by being a man of the word of God, also called parameduneter. The man who is merely a man of his word will always be under the pressure of performing up to the par that is that word. He may utter the word to others or to himself, but what escape or lot of freedom should he find from having to fulfill his own purpose, his own destiny, his own word? Does the man know his own word to be true at all? How could the man know? If the man says, and he means it, I will be there at 9 p.m., and he shows up at 9:15, even at 9:01, his own word is false, isn't it? If that man spoke it to be that he is a man of his word, is that man then doomed under the verdict that is, this man is a liar? He would have not only lied about being a man of his word, but also being at whatever location at the time of 9 p.m. Stay with me. It may not seem to some that the idea of a man being of his word has as much depth to it as I'm implying or explaining. But have you been walking with me? If you have, you may be very familiar with the reality that is, I am not a shallow being by the longest shot. I underlined it for you. Key. We are not what we say we are. We are what we do. We are not what we say we will do. We are what we do. Even when we say we will do a thing, sometimes there may occur events that can affect that preconceived notion of an outcome. It's safe to say that we may say this and that, but when those words leave our lips, they are in the hands of divine. Why then does the man not choose to be of divine's word and not of his own? Why does man choose to be an abider of the law of man as opposed to the law of divine? Where did man go wrong? Men are not created to be men of their words or their own words. How can I be a man of my word if I am not who I say I am? I am not who I say I am. I am who I am. I am what I do. Who am I? I am what I do. It is a simple truth with so many complex nicknames that its original tones have been blended into a grainy smoothie of noise. Turn down the noise. In the way of the great workers, you are not a sayer, you are a doer. In order to truly be a doer, you must completely understand the key of its phonetic equivalent, dawar, an Arabic word meaning circle or roundabout. What does it mean to be well-rounded? When one is being referred to as well-rounded, it is mainly because of their ability to do many works greatly. These and those who are the great workers are all well-rounded people. I must let you in on a secret that just as there are levels on the pyramid, listen, there are levels that are to be looked at intentionally when it comes to the great workers, as all of the great workers have, in one way or another, received the first, second, and third degrees of light, yet there were, are, and will be ways of greater workers as they did, do, and will go on to perform greater works than these and those, as it was written that they may. It is the grand duty of the great workers and the greater workers to toil together as a unified force to finish the greatest work, a work that is greater than any of them, carried out by all of them, hindered by none of them. All great workers and greater workers are one. Their values are indeed reflected in their works truly, but would you scold the infant for a sink full of dirty dishes? On that same note, would you praise an adult for taking steps? Each have their own roles. Some roles are fulfilled just by that being who has been divinely assigned that roles just simply being. The infant may not appear to be doing a work of any kind, let alone a great one. Many may not nearly be of the mind to see the productivity in the apparently lazing infant. It may seem to some as those babies are obsolete creatures with no sort of defined purpose whatsoever. Remove the role of the infant, however, and you remove the role of any of the adults who might believe such a thing. No infants, no adults. The point of this part of the build is to express the vitality of one neither underestimating nor overestimating the value of the great worker functioning in its true role. All hands with bricks in them step forward. Place your appointed and anointed brick and return to your stack with the knowledge that another one of your bricks may be requested. Each brick is unique. All bricks are placed in accordance to God's word. Do you see? I could read on. All right. But the point here is saying that somebody is a man of their word is one thing. Understanding that the word you speak of was given to you in fallacy. It was handed over to you in a realm of fallacy, a realm of illusion. It was handed over to you by men who were fallible. It was handed over to you by men who asked you if you had or made it be that you confessed belief in a higher being. If you believed in a higher being, why did you go to man to receive degrees? Why didn't you just go to the higher being to receive the degrees? You talking to me like you went to the higher being. You didn't go to the higher being. You went to man. Allah or God or whoever you said was your God or guide or guard or your supreme being didn't blindfold you. They didn't divest you. They didn't give you your tools. They didn't give you your arts, your parts, and your points. They didn't give you your obi. They didn't tie you to your fellow man or your brother. They didn't. No, you didn't circumambulate with God. You're not Enoch. You walk with Tim or Kevin or Tyrone, who has a whole porn collection in his computer. You know, this person is a rapist or a murderer, or this person got his own issues over here, or this person is just trying to find his way like you are. You dealing with fallible beings. You didn't go to the Most High to receive your degrees of light. So what's to say you didn't encounter Luciferians along your way? What's to say you didn't encounter Lucifer as a worshipful master? You dealt with the ironic statement that there were worshipful masters in the lodge. The only worshipful master is the Most High. The whole ritual is an oxymoron. Ask me how I know, because I was in there saying, this is an oxymoron. You're telling me that I'm supposed to hold this Bible like I'm in court, or hold the do-guard as if there is one present, and I'm supposed to swear on this Bible that I will never reveal the hidden mysteries of Freemasonry. I will always hide, or I will always conceal. When in this same exact book, if I go to the book Luke, this same exact book says that there's going to come a time where you have to reveal. There's going to come a time where all the secret things that were said and whispered amongst the men of the orders will have to be screened from the mountaintop. Everything that was concealed has to be revealed. Why would we ever be told to always conceal the hidden mysteries of Masonry or Freemasonry if in the same exact book you have the book of Revelation? Let me go to it on the net because I can't find it in here. They probably got it under Saint. That's why I couldn't find it. You got the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 10, verse 7, the mystery of God will be complete or finished, all right, or perfected. The light will be perfected. There has to come a time where there's a revelation, and we're standing on the cosmic floors, get this, of the white and the black. I didn't miss the allegory. Come on, brother, get on the level. How I missed the allegory? It's an allegory, right? Literally, it's up for interpretation, for one. Well, how did I miss it if I'm explaining it? You're on the black and the white squares or tiles. You're on the negative and the positive. You're standing on a symbol that's associated with action potential in your being. You're standing on duality. You're standing on the left and the right. You're standing on the battery. You're standing on the dark and the light. You're standing on the conceal and the reveal. Yet somebody's going to tell you, never reveal. Never go toward that tree of life in the midst of the garden, or not in the midst of, never go into that tree of life. Only stand on or by the tree in the midst of the garden, the Torah. Torah. Tob is good. Ra. So they gave us the Torah. Of course, they said you came out when I was younger called Skulls, right, which we had to watch. Okay, you had people like Bush and the rest of the people who were part of these orders. All right, The skull and bones is 322 because of Genesis chapter 3, verse 22 saying, now the man has become like one of us. Now the man has become like one of us. But they don't let you keep going. They keep you stuck and they have you curse yourself. And so long as you accept that word of a curse, I will never do this unless I will accept the penalty of no less than murder. Right? Having my throat slit and my tongue ripped out for speaking light out here amongst the people. I will always keep this to myself. They had you in violation from the beginning. Now the man has become like one of us. But then they said, we're not going to let them touch the tree of life and live forever. Then that means they ridded you or stripped you away from the right to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, where it says, we formed man out of the dust of the ground. We breathed into him the spirit of life and he became Eve, a living soul. They took living soul from you, said, here, you can have 322, but you can't have 9. We'll give you 322. That's 7. Or we'll give you 7. The G, yeah, you can have that. The G is fine. That's your light. Yeah, we'll let you have that. But you cannot go to the tree of life, Eve. Because when you go to the tree of life, Eve, you rise above duality. And now you're in correspondence and your core is responding to all things around you and everything around you is responding to your core. You'll see they lie. You'll see the whole thing was set up as a lie. The whole thing was set up as an illusion. That's why it's a play on light. Yes or no, or true or false. Can't light be used by anybody? True or false? Does not Lucifer bring you to the word of light carrier or light bearer? So who's to say your worshipful masters are not Luciferians? The ones that you encountered. And if they are Luciferians, which ultimately, technically speaking, they all would be. Because they carried the light. They were your Pharaoh. When you say the word Pharaoh, it has different meanings phonetically. Pharaoh is someone who's carrying something like a cross. Stay with me. Pharaoh will give you the word Fa and Ro. These are Greek letters. Fa, Ro. When you put the letter Fa and the letter Ro together, you will see a Pharaoh holding a crook, which is a shepherd's tool, guiding the sheep. Listen to me, because sheep has dual meanings. Sheep are the ones who are the chosen or the elect, and sheep are the ones blind, following after the shepherd. Listen to me. So a Luciferian comes and carries you light. Now, if they're Luciferians, which Lucifer are they? Did they bring you the true light or the false light? I'm telling you, Masons are not brought the true light. Not in religion, not ritualistically. You're not brought the true light. You're brought the offer of realizing it, but then you swear on yourself that you will accept no penalty less than this, or I will always this. You gave a sign. That's where your word oath takes you to. O-A-T-H takes you to O-W-T-H. Oath. Phonetically, listen to it, play on words. An oath in Hebrew or Hebrew means what? A sign. You gave a sign. And they gave you a sign, right? They said, don't trade our signs in for a fleeting gain. The religious books taught that. For what profit a man to gain this whole world and lose his soul? Listen again. What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So they gave you a piece of information. They call it a token when they gave you your grip. They gave us our grip. I'm going to say our because I was there. I stood there. They say, here it is. The moment they give it to you, they cover it up. What they taught us about light. And the thing was, it was about concealing. What is it put in place for? It's put in place specifically for those who will reach that level of being able to reach those people on that mount. I never put people on to how this world was built. Who's the God of this world? Satan. According to the book that the Masons have in the lodge. The God of this world is Satan. So if you really want to stand there with me, we can. right? So I can walk you through that. Lucifer brings light. He can. I knew this as a young person. You might be today old. But when I was 16, I knew this. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove to you that I knew it. This verse emphasizes that secrets and hidden things will eventually come to the light. Ooh, if you a brother, I know you know what that means. Revealing the truth. Somebody lied to us, didn't they? Somebody lied. All right. So we just saw 17:12, Al-Quran and Al-Isra, the night journey. Well, Al-Isra or Miraj will be the whole saying. The night journey and the ascension. We made the night and day two signs, and we erased the sign of the night. Seek bounty from your Lord, and may know the number of years and the account of time and everything we have set out in detail. Let's look at something else. Let's see if we'll find something else established in duality. Everything we created for you, what? Pairs. The Quran mentions that God created everything in pairs, right? And we created you in pairs. We created you male and females. And we created pairs of all things. So perhaps you would be mindful. Okay? Glory to Allah, who created in pairs all things that the earth produces, as well as their own selves and things of which they have no knowledge. Okay, somebody lied to us then, because my obligation was to never reveal. My obligation was to never adhere to the positive side of the spectrum or the white status. My obligation was to never let it be known what is being clearly stated in here, right? Let's go KJV and you'll see something very interesting, right? Let's try 12:3. All right. Therefore, whatsoever you have. Oh, snap. So, okay, let's read the rest before I get too excited. And that which ye have spoken in the ear. Where the brothers at? In closets shall be proclaimed. Right? Or I might sign. I'll do the quick. It'll be quick. It's something you don't even see. or depending on what your degree is, done in the light. People not seeing what is happening though. You see what I'm saying? Now, we don't have to do any of the ritualistic. So you can see a sign or watch somebody's works, and you'll say, that's a brother, based off of what they're doing. And then you may want to confirm and say, where you hail from, brother? Right? He may answer you a certain way. He may not answer you a certain way. That's the conversation happening out here amongst eavesdroppers, as y'all call us, the people that's outside. Right? Again, I went through the travels, so I'm saying that like I know. The eavesdroppers wouldn't know what's going on when they see, but the friends will. Stay with me so you don't get lost. So another way that happen is I take the token, or he gives me the token, and I lean forward. He step forward, I step forward. We traveling right there. He'll whisper in my ear. I will hear. Whatever he says, what he say. I say, Boaz. Then he know where I'm at. In that moment, he knows where I'm at, because as a traveler, you may not be there the next week. But right there, he know my location. Right there, he know my age. Right there, he understands what the paper would read if you go and look me up or try to find my grandmother or anything like that. He'll know what is. Again, most people don't even go through the process of figuring all that out. You don't, because it's passing. You're doing this in passing. So you say, Boaz. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, a grip has a few purposes. Okay, what are the purposes? Remember, when you say, yo, not saying you said I'm lying. I'm saying that if you were to say I was lying, then you would be standing on the level of being able to explain what it actually is, wouldn't you? But one of the first ways, the way we got into this conversation, when you're like, bro, what are you doing? Exactly. You wouldn't do that if I was just full of hot air. You understand that? So again, speaking in the ear though, did I make that up? Yes or no? I just want an honest answer. Did I make it up that we would talk, lean forward, grip, lean forward, whisper in the ear? It's very subtle. It looked like what niggas do. It's supposed to be real subtle and embrace damn near. And it's a whisper, okay? There are certain variations of what's being expressed here. Spoken in darkness, I think some of them will say whisper. If I could find a version that says that. Right? But anyway, the point is, yeah, see, look, here we go. What you have spoken in the dark will be heard in the daylight. And what you have whispered in the inner rooms, listen, will be proclaimed from the housetops. Same thing MLK was talking about before they killed him. I understand, family. I hear what you're saying. Again, all of this is the transfer. All of this is the recognition. All of this is a part of what we were taught, except it was taught on a faulty foundation. I'm showing you in real time what the Bible says. Then we have a whole book called Revelation, right? So let's stay on it for a second, right? We went over the pairs. We saw in the Bible where it says that I can go through Revelation. Let's go to Revelation chapter 10, right? Let me show you something interesting. Revelation chapter 10, verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery, listen, of God should be finished, as he hath declared to the servants of the prophets. Right? This is taking place. This scripture is in a revelation given to Yohanan or to John. Revelation is in the word. It has to be revealed. All the mysteries have to be put out here. So whoever gave us these oaths saying we will never reveal the hidden mysteries of Freemasonry, or the ancient mysteries of Freemasonry, they set us up to be a part of the dark side. And the dark side not meaning evil. Dark side, let's look at the word that they gave us in our Obi. The word was heli, or hell. I hell. Right? Let's look at the etymology of that word. Let's see what we find. Let's see if we're in alignment with what God's word is. Yes, most brothers get taught in fallacy. JIT gets treated as a fraternity. That's not what we do. JIT gets... Oh, well, again, I don't know what you mean by we. I'm not even speaking about necessarily what people are doing. I'm speaking about what we were taught. We were all taught this. Hell, the word hell sounds familiar too. has multiple origins and meanings. It can refer to the action of concealing or hiding. That's where you get the word Helen, like Hellenistic, right? Because if I say the word Hellenistic, let's look at it. Hellenistic, right? The word Hellenistic derived, what does that mean? Greece, hold on. Oh, yeah, the Hellenistic period. That's what I was just trying to explain. The Hellenistic period, Hellenistic era, right? Cultural exchange and blending between Greek, Persian, Egyptian, and Near Eastern traditions, all right? So Hellenistic period known for the spread of Greek culture, all right? So let's look at this word Hellenistic, where a lot of the magic was being taught, a lot of the Tahuti science was being taught, all right? Let's look at it. If we break this word down into two words, we get Helen and we get the word mystic. You see? The hidden mysteries. Sound familiar? I will never reveal the hidden mysteries of Freemasonry, concealed mysteries. But the mystery of God has to be brought forth to people. And yes or no, does this symbol that's on my forehead not mean God? Does this G not stand for God? You see what I'm saying? So then you see the light behind it too, which represents that sun also. I'm taking you behind the 9-ball now. If you listen, the 9-ball is the sun. 360 degrees, that sun that you trade in when you become that. Come on now. Helen mystic, hidden mysteries. Okay? Or what? The dark mysteries. Because dark and hidden are synonymous, correct? Okay, let's break it down further. If we have dark mysteries, let's take it back to Kemet. We have Chem mysteries. Sound familiar? Chem mystery. Sound familiar? Chem mystery. Huh? A branch of natural science that deals principally with the properties of substance, the changes they undergo, and the natural laws that describe these changes. How things came to be and what things are made of. Chemistry. This sounds familiar to me. Didn't they have something called an alchemist or alchemy? Alchemy. Ancient practice that combines philosophy and experimentation to transform substances, and it can also refer to a mystical or a magical practice. This is masonry. Alchemy. It's also called magic by some. Now, there is a difference. We'll go to it another time, or you can go to Faise One, the science of alchemy on Young Elders page. And I went into way more depth. But there will be eventually a book. I'll write a book on alchemy. Okay, so I'll explain it from an alchemist standpoint, not a YouTube alchemist. Okay, so you have magic and you have the etymology. Let's look at the etymology of magic. The word magic originates from the ancient Greek term magia, which referred to the practices of Persian priests. These are scientists, okay, known as magi. So when you think priests, you should think scientists, okay? But they were known as magi. Another word for the magi is the wise men, okay? So magic, magus, magnum, works, okay? Or magnum is grand. Of or pertaining to magic, working or produced by enchantment, having supernatural qualities or powers. All of this is dealing with science, okay, which they know now to be chemistry. But they kept chemistry for themselves and they let everybody else out here have alchemy, because you're not going anywhere without understanding that alchemy and chemistry are one. They're one and the same. The philosopher's stone, all the stuff they were looking for, it aligns with science as you see it now, that produces the technology that they used to call magic. They flipped it on you. You know what I mean? Okay. So we have magi or the wise men. All right. We can say the wise ones. All right. Or the wise men. Or we can say the wisest. Okay. Of all. And then you can say wisest of all of us. Right? And then you can just say Wizard of Oz. And the Wizard of Oz is the wise one, who was always wise in every direction. Okay? This prefix here means you're always a thing. And always is 2 words. All right? All ways. All ways. From the center in every direction outward. You see what I'm saying? That's being centered. So the one who is always wise. All right? And then you'll find another gem. The Wizard of Oz is speaking about ounces. OZ. And ounces is how they measured gold. So that's where you see the yellow brick road or the AU or the AU. Okay? My point is, all of this symbolism does lead somewhere, and it leads to science, because it was about those who were led to the gold. You had to be led to gold. You understand? If you weren't led to gold, you didn't walk the yellow brick road, you will not understand what this is about. Masonry, you could be a 32nd degree. You could be a shrine. You could be Scottish Rite, Manly P. Don't matter. If you were never led to gold, you will not understand what your travels were about, Dorothy. Do you hear me? So from lead to gold was alchemy. While the phrase lead to gold is often associated with alchemy's goal of transmuting base metals into gold, it's also real scientific possibility through nuclear transmutation. Who taught y'all that? Who been around? Didn't I teach you that? Now they AI. Not because I discovered something nobody knew. It's just that the spiritual community, conscious community, all these people, they didn't know that. They were talking about things that are real science, but people are still stuck back in the esoteric. They haven't been led to the goal. When you struck gold, listen, you reached an awareness point. It was Yorika. Yorika. All right? Yorika. Yorika. You say yo. Some of y'all already on it. I see you in the comments. Re-ka. A good light spirit. Okay. Yorika is what people say when they found gold or when they struck gold. So it leads you somewhere. So if we say Re is in the center and Yorika is saying, I found the good light, then that Yorika is also Ra. Okay? Ra. All right? Let's say Egypt. Ra. The sun god. All right? Now let's look at this emblem again. Light. But it's being kept from people because they're being told to do this. They never took the walk. I knew it coeptus. Okay? I knew it coeptus. Let's look at what it means, because I remember I talked to y'all about it in the How to Speak Elite book. Let's look at that real quick. Who has favored these people's undertakings? Okay? I knew it coeptis. The literal translation is he favors or has favored our undertakings. Okay, remember I taught y'all that? I think that's in How to Speak Elite. My book, How to Speak Elite. Okay, and those of y'all who got the books, they will be coming out soon. Now, the Protect the Crown book coming out on the 19th, so I might just let y'all who already sent just line up with them people who gonna get the new book. So you won't have to donate twice. All right? Don't go to Greek wording. It was translated from Hebrew. All right, well, we can visit that. We'll visit that too. That ain't even the point, but thank you for that. Yeah, I'll go look into that. So yeah, I knew it coeptus. Okay, God has favored our undertakings. This is God. All right, this is the eye of providence. But let me tell you a secret about that. Now, this is the mountaintop that Martin Luther King went up to when he saw the promised land. The eye right there is the peak. P-E-E-K, P-E-A-K. He saw the promised land. He been to the mountaintop. The mountain is the pyramid. You understand?